There is no return on our investment. And you're watching it for yourself. I'm walking around the entire city, this vast open emptiness. Does 2K have what it takes to bring the players back? Hey, you already know, I'm AllCity with AllCityLiveTV.com, and thank you for tuning in. Vibe with me for a second, y'all. Once upon a time in 2K, 2K was great. Used to take up a good majority of my time. It didn't feel like a chore. I don't know where you guys grew up, but I grew up in one of the biggest cities in the world, New York City, Lower East Side. Where I grew up, there were no billboards. Count them with me, y'all. 1 on the left, 2 on the left, 3 in the middle, 4, 5 billboards on your loading screen. Now, this is not about billboards. This is more about what 2K used to be. What 2K used to be to the casual gamer all the way up to the competitive gamer. I used to be somewhat of a casual gamer. I used to just not even really care about competing. I was solely focused on developing my player. Once upon a time, you used to be able to go the whole annual 2K cycle with just 1 or 2 players. Now we got people out there making 8, 9 players. Does that mean that 2K is doing their job right? If 2K's goal is to make money, are they doing their job right? Now there's an end game, there's a short game, and a long game. What type of game do you think 2K is playing? Vibe with me for a second, y'all. Once upon a time, you used to be able to walk around with a tiger by your side. Once upon a time, you used to be able to fly around with a jetpack. Once upon a time, you used to have defense that made sense. Once upon a time, the defense matched the offensive aggressiveness in the paint. Once upon a time, we had defensive lockdowns out there. Lockdowns that went crazy and could do everything. Do we want that? Do we want better defense? Ask yourself that. Can 2K meet the requirements that the players want at a standard level, at a very basic level? Can they meet that standard? Does 2K want to even meet that standard? Does it make sense financially for them to meet that standard? Once upon a time, you used to be able to play this game without even purchasing any boost, and you could do that the whole annual cycle. You was able to play the entire year without purchasing any boost whatsoever. Once upon a time, there was a skill gap, a noticeable skill gap, where if you got on the court and you didn't play the game often, you would get demolished noticeably. And you were forced back into the lab to make the adjustments you need to be able to compete. There's a reason, in my opinion, why microtransactions started increasing. It's because people enjoyed the game. Once upon a time, people really enjoyed playing 2K. So players didn't feel bad about making microtransactions or creating new builds. Once upon a time, badges made sense. Once upon a time, you used to be able to pass the ball without getting an insane catch animation. Once upon a time, the 2K community was absolutely lit. Once upon a time, grinding to legend actually meant something. Once upon a time, wanting a 2K logo was something that content creators aspired to get, especially content creators. Once upon a time, you used to want to be affiliated with 2K. Once upon a time, there was a huge amount of diversity in the player builds. Once upon a time, you used to be able to get swap blocks on defense. Once upon a time, the animations were not nearly as canned as they are now. Once upon a time, the parks were not nearly as empty as what you're seeing now. Once upon a time, the game was about playing basketball and not dancing around the court or dancing around the neighborhood. Once upon a time, it felt like 2K actually cared. Once upon a time, you didn't have to do workouts to be able to compete. Once upon a time, you used to play on top of the skyscraper with helicopters hovering around. Once upon a time, you used to see mascots all over the place. playing against mascots, mascots against mascots. Once upon a time, you had to work on your dribble animations and combinations in order to get past the aggressive defense. Once upon a time, perimeter defense made sense. Perimeter defense was functionable. Once upon a time, you used to be able to go into the Jordan Rec Center with your gear on and play a 5v5 game. Once upon a time, so many people wanted to play this game. So let's talk about what's changed for 2K. Let's talk about what's changed for you as a player. Let's talk about what type of build you're making these days in order to play 2K. So now we get this city, a vast open world, open space, but nobody's in it. You'd be lucky you come across one person just standing in the street, not knowing what to do, because there's no objectives in the city. There's no reason for all of this space aside from traveling from one court to the next. Events in 2K have never made sense. But once upon a time when that first Beats events dropped, it was absolutely terrible, but it was the most amazing thing that we had seen up until that time, but they couldn't make it work. And we are in years later and they still can't make events work or function properly. So tell me why we have all of this open space. Why do we trade off everything we had once upon a time for this vast emptiness? Let me know in the comment section, is this something that you asked for, wanted, or needed? Or do you prefer good gameplay, balanced gameplay that actually makes sense? I would really love to hear from you guys. I would really love the 2K community to speak out for what we got right now, because right now the game does not make much sense to me. Do we need this city? Or would you guys prefer matchmaking or a matchmaking option? I know they tried that with 3v3 Pro-Am and they tried that with Pro-Am, but they somehow just screw all of that up. Help me understand, y'all. Why is it that the Pro-Am is, you could only rank up in Pro-Am on particular days? Why is it that they kind of just make these adjustments without the approval from us? We are the ones that are funding 2K. So it is in their best interest to accommodate the player. What they're introducing to us is not accommodating. Once upon a time, you used to be able to get rep in every affiliation that you travel to. There was no penalty. Do you want that back? We asked for affiliations as something that we wanted, but this is not how we wanted affiliations to operate. This is not what we're used to. We're not used to affiliations working in this way. There shouldn't be a penalty to go and play on a different court. This is why the city is empty and you're watching it for yourself. I'm walking around the entire city, this vast open emptiness. Did 2K meet your expectations? We're talking about next generation. You done spent so much money on a next gen console, not to mention the hassle that you had to go through in order to even get that console, and this is what you're getting for 2K. Once upon a time, it didn't feel like 2K was just trying to gouge your pockets. Once upon a time, you openly gave up your money to 2K because you felt like you received a good product. You felt like it was worth it. 2K hasn't received a microtransaction from me in months, and I refuse to give them any microtransactions. They've already gotten enough out of me. So now I go out there on my live stream and I develop these players live to showcase what we got from 2K. It feels like 2K is more so taking instead of giving. And what happens is, I think where 2K lost sight is that 2K used to give to the player. You felt like you were receiving something, so you gave in return. Now it feels like we're constantly encouraged to just give and give and give, but we're not getting much in return. There is no return on our investment. This seems like it's a dying game. Can 2K come back? Do you think they have what it takes to come back? I can say that if you do get another packaged version for NBA 2K22 for current gen and next gen, then you're probably gonna get more of the same. They barely had the ability to make a complete game focusing on one console, let alone now they have to focus on so many more consoles with the release of next generation gaming. Does 2K have what it takes to bring the players back? Does 2K have what it takes to fill a vast empty space like the city that they have. Did it work? Do you guys think the city works? Is this city a good idea? Should we take it back? Should we take it back to basics? Maybe just get players into the game. Forget about aesthetics, forget about everything else that actually makes the gameplay 10 times worse or even 100 times worse, because the servers cannot handle what they're creating here. I love that 2K is innovative, but if something don't work, remove it. You gotta have some type of fundamental, core, basic aspect of the game that actually functions, and then build upon that, which 2K has already had. We've already had greatness, and they were supposed to add on to that greatness, but it seems like they took away. I hope you guys found this video helpful and or informative, and if you did, please consider dropping a like. We will be going live. The AllCity stream team is in full effect today, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, streaming 1 p.m. to 1 a.m. I hope to catch you guys out there. Don't forget, if you guys are looking for players to run with on Discord, you're tired of running with randoms, come on out and join us on our Discord. Let's bring the players back to 2K. Let's bring the fun back to 2K. I hope to catch you guys out there. Easy, y'all.